We'll call a Municipal Services and Utilities Agenda meeting to order June 29th, 2026 at 4 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Ken Minot,
Here.
Nancy Douglas. Here. Peter Harvey.
Here. All right. Under new business, discussion of possible recommendation regarding proceeding with PSC application process to increase water rates by 3%.
Yeah, I'll just,
It's all right here.
just a sort of preliminary introduction, and that is, the city last raised water rates in March of '24, so it's been about more than 2 years already, and the proposal would be to have those be effective around September 1, so it'd be about 2.5 years from the last time we did it. We acknowledge that our water rates are definitely high, especially in comparison to other communities. There's a variety of reasons for that. One, we've got more, minerals and minerals that we have to treat. We have a fairly complicated system relative to other departments or other cities. One of the challenges we've had is water loss. Our water loss percentage is a lot higher than other communities, and that's something that Nate, our water superintendent's been really focusing on since he's gotten here, and he's got a plan for addressing that going forward. The council, you guys approved relatively recently doing a water loss testing, which we're going to have that done here soon. So that's sort of the preview. Corey passed out a helpful chart that she put together showing revenues 24, 25, and 26. And this is significant because this is what they look at for our debt coverage. And at the very, very bottom, you'll see the all-in debt coverage percentage, which we really need it to be at least we need at least 125 at a minimum. Ellers recommends 140 to 160. You could see on that far right column for 26, we're about 115% right now. If you look at our budget versus where our actual revenues are, if you look at where our actual expenses are, which are right now trending lower than what we budgeted, we'd be in about 130% for the all-in debt coverage. So unfortunately, the reality is that in order for the city to continue to have sufficient revenues to cover our debt issuances and to pay our debt, we would need to increase our rates 3%, which is what we had budgeted for this year. The PSC, you could do two types of rate increases. You can do a full process, which is a conventional rate case review, which is a very time-consuming process, and then there's a simplified process. So we've done the conventional one, which we did back in '24. So now we can do the simplified. So it's much simpler. You literally just fill out an application, you click submit, and we hear back pretty quickly. So that's just sort of a preview as to why this is on for today. What makes this tough is that the water department has been working really diligently on the water loss side of it. We replaced 300 meters already earlier this year, which the council, I know you guys made it a priority to get those meters replaced. We have seen an increase in water revenues in the first half of this year. We're averaging about $10,000 a month more over last year for revenues. And as Nate will briefly summarize in a second.
Briefly.
Sorry,
Ken. It's your meeting.
Very briefly. We'll just that increase in water revenue is also correlating with the decrease in water loss. So we're losing less water, but we're also making more money, which tells us that the meter's doing a better job of tracking what's being in the system being used by the customer. So Nate, do you want to just real briefly point that out?
Yeah, just I guess real quickly, right? Overall, we're pumping less water from our wells than we were a year ago, which is good. That means our system's been tightened up, which means electrical costs, water costs, chemical costs should all go down to some degree, right? The bigger story here is the amount of water that we're pumping to the distribution system. We're actually pumping less water to the distribution system than we were a year ago, but we're making more revenue, and that's due to tightening up the system through water main breaks, service leaks, repairing some hydrants, and the use of installing new meters. So you can see that on the third graph there, the second page, second graph, the sales or the water going to distribution system is actually less, right, than we were a year ago. The blue line is this year, and the green line was last year. on the following page, just to kind of go along with that, I guess page 3, the differential between water going distribution system, what's being billed. At the beginning of the year, we were about 284,000 gallons a day, probably, being lost. And right now, we're currently sitting at about 173 gallons per day being lost. So there's still quite a bit out there, but it's just showing you that we're declining. These improvements, they are working. And then obviously it reflects dollars sold, right? As you see in the second chart on the 3rd page there, our sales are just slightly increased. Over the last 3 months, I have stayed about 10,000. And if we were to project that out, right, it could be anywhere from like an additional $50,000 to $90,000, just to play it conservatively. There we go. On the 4th page here, we kind of look at everything as a whole, as the water being pumped to distribution, compared from this year with the total distribution and then what's being billed. And then you're looking at water loss percent. Well, in January it was 30%. As of May, just the month of May, we were down to 18%. Overall, we're averaging about 25%, which is about 5% less than a year ago. So again, all these things are playing a role. On the second to last page, it's just again showing the green line is 10% water loss. That's a target where I want to be at, 10% or less. Just make a note that we actually have to use some distribution water to make water. We have to regenerate our plants, backwash our softeners and filters, so that utilizes money that goes out. So that's about 6 to 7% per year. So if you kind of look at the month of May, we would have hit about, if you factor in, we were 18%, right? And then water loss, we're right around 12% for the month of May. So we're diving in there, and hopefully it'll maintain it. These drops aren't going to be as steep the longer we go, but hopefully we'll be target that 10%, which is a good. And then this is like the last graph there on that page. It's just kind of comparing to different communities of the same population between 10,000 and 11,000. I just think it's, when you look at everybody else, the same size, right? We're the highest water loss. These are 2025 stats from the PSC. So hopefully they'll get better. And if we're like the 3rd lowest population amongst those, I don't know, 9 communities, right? That's just kind of showing that we pump the least per day, we sell the 3rd least per day, but our sales are the highest, which again, it reflects, our rates are higher than communities like similar size, but we also treat for radium, we treat for arsenic, we treat for corrosion control. We have pressure filters, we have softeners, we have brine tanks too, so the salt costs. So it does cost us, unfortunately, a lot more to remove those contaminants than others. Hence probably a higher operation budget as well.
So unfortunately, the good news is we're making progress, as Nate has alluded to. We're starting to see some, again, drop in water loss. The challenges for us, the revenues are still, versus the expenses are just not enough to give us that cushion that we really need for the debt coverage, as well as just operationally. So at this point, we would still suggest doing the 3% that we budgeted to increase water rates for this year. Ellers, when they did our last bond for the water department, recommended a 3% increase this year, a 3% increase next year, and I think maybe even it was another 3. Yeah, so one option would be we approve rates this year for a 3% increase, and then hopefully maybe a year from now, Nate will have done such a great job with the water loss, and that all the new meters will be in, that we can forego having to raise rates next year if we continue to see progress. But we just haven't seen enough right now that we can say that there's going to be enough revenue to cover future debt issuances. So.
Yeah, correct. I mean, and hopefully with that water loss study, we'll be able to actually paint a picture as to how much revenue is actually being lost through true water loss in our system, and that'll help kind of drive some of these conversations too. I mean, I guess one thing to kind of note, and I know we're not alone. I mean, I've heard it from several other municipalities. It's been on the news as well. This like contractor rates, equipment, it's just rocketed in the industry since COVID, and there's nothing that we can do to kind of control that. And I'm sure you guys are aware, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. Like just to have an electrician in for the day, it's $1,000. It's not like what it was 5 years ago where you could probably get a couple projects done for a little bit, you know?
Can I just ask, being new,
Sure.
if you'll answer quickly? Sorry. Where, the water loss, is this water being used, it's not metered, meters are broken, you don't know where it's going? Just a very short synopsis of that.
Yeah, sure. So it could be older meters, could be some of it, right? They don't register
Sure.
accurately enough. It could be leaky hydrants, leaking valves, broken water main,
Okay.
leaky services.
So it's just nickel and diming us to death,
That's a good way
those
of
little
putting it.
things. Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And right now, they've replaced, the water department's replaced 300 so far meters this year out of 2,400 that we're looking to do. So, I mean, a good jump, but still quite a ways to go, so. Yeah, but the water department did focus on the most likely to be inaccurate meters first. So we've seen probably the biggest marginal benefit from replacing those meters to start with.
Right. Yeah, and to follow up with that, we did locate a couple large main leaks that were repaired this past year. Actually, on a Centralia Road project, we found another leak by the water plant, which actually correlated to 2 hydrants that are being replaced on Friday, this past Friday and today. So all that's going to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Anything else?
The only other thing I would add, sorry, Mr. Alderman McClory, is just, despite that water loss, yes, is a big part of this, but it's also too, just as Nate said, I mean, obviously costs continue to go up on inflation for us. So if you guys approve the 3%, that's effectively, you know, since March of '24, you're looking at, you know, less than a 1.5% increase per year since then. So that's not, you know, in terms of inflation, is under what inflation has been, actually.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to recommend the PSC application proceed with a 3% increase.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, B, discussion of possible recommendation regarding charging irrigation allowance discount to residents users set forth in the city code section 13.4.0604. And that is what we do in the summer. Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah, and I'm gonna turn it over to our irrigation allowance expert, Corey Daly. So Corey, do you wanna?
All right, that one works. Okay, currently, and I've been here 20-some years, and it's never changed. Currently, during the months of April through August, for residential customers, the sewer is basically stuck at what you used in the month of March. Unless you go less, then you're billed less. So your sewer was basically stuck at whatever you used for the month of March. So you're getting a discount if you use more. You'll still be charged the water for it. It's just the sewer won't go up. Recently, the PSC kind of changed how things are being categorized. We have multifamily, like apartment buildings. Any unit that has, it's servicing 3 or more units is considered a multifamily. So an apartment building that not each unit has their own water meter, it's just billed to the house, the whole building, or the landlord. Those are considered a multifamily residential now. We used to have them set up as commercial. So in the past, those type of meters were not getting the sewer discount. Now that they've changed the way they're categorized, our ordinance says residential customers get this discount or get this allowance. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention to see, do we want to change it, and what do we want to change it to? There's a chart there that was included in your packet, showing kind of the consumption differences. I went back to 2024, and this is all for what's categorized as residential. So January 1st of '24, there was 7 accounts set up as a multifamily at that time. So we kind of gradually set them up in the system, but we were still reporting them correctly under the PSC. We were taking them out of this category and putting them in that category to show them correctly. But as we were going along, you can kind of see in that difference in cubic feet, there's always a little bit of a difference. There's a few residentials that might have an outside watering spigot that's metered separately, or so the water versus sewer doesn't always match. But you can kind of tell in August of '24, there was 367,480 cubic feet difference from what we were billing as residential water versus residential sewer. And then you can see in '25, April and on, you can see when that occurs and the difference. So most residential, like apartments or multi-unit meters, most of them probably don't have an outside water spigot they're doing watering for their plants and stuff like that. Most of those don't have that option. So it could be a fact that maybe some of the units are empty, or maybe, we'll say in April, there was, a single person living there now in that unit. Now it's a whole family. Well, we're not bringing in that revenue for that additional sewer. We will for the water. So the gap has gotten bigger over the years. So I was just kind of concerned, like maybe we need to look at either adjusting or eliminating the irrigation, just because I feel like there's, quite a bit of loss in revenue. The very far column is the number of dollars based on that current rate. So during '25, April through August, it's like I don't remember, it's like $117,000 that was a difference. Now, some of that would be true residentials watering their plants, filling their pools. So some of that could be legit. But my thought is you can kind of see from '24 to '25 that gap has kind of gotten bigger. So I just kind of wanted to bring it to your attention to see if it's something we want to address. The next table that Matt just brought up too, we did look around at other communities around us to see what they do. Whitewater, Lake Geneva, Delavan, Burlington don't offer an irrigation discount. They do offer where you can have another meter put in that would basically meter the water that's not going down the sewer, or meter the water that is going down the sewer, however you want to look at it. To allow there to be a discount, you obviously would have to pay for a plumber to come in and get the plumbing done. You'd have to get permits and whatnot in order to do that. Plus, there's a monthly fee for a meter. I think ours is like $550 a month, I think, if someone would want to do that. Burlington, I did notice that in 2021, they did have an irrigation, and they removed it at that time. But East Troy has a quarterly discount where they average the fourth and the first quarter, and then they add an additional 10% onto it, and that's what theirs would be for June through September. But the rest of the communities that I found that are doing anything are not really in our area per se. But I just wanted to show you, this is what, by just going online and Googling, this is all I found for who offers an irrigation or sewer discount, whichever way you want to look at it, so.
Thank you. Any questions?
I do, if I may.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. So, just so I'm clear on this, are you saying that if we leave it the way it is, all these new apartments we're building would all get a sewer discount,
All residential.
even though they're not out watering plants or gardens or anything?
If they're separately metered and they're residential, they would get a discount.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my other question is, I thought I recall a conversation within the last year that our sewer fund has been beat up pretty good. And there was, I think it was talk about the Centralia Street project, that one thing holding us back was there wasn't a lot of capital in our sewer fund. Am I right on that?
I'd say our sewer has more cash than some of the other utilities, but
Okay.
in terms of it's been losing money. So yes, it was losing money, but there was some cash in there. But
Okay.
with a $4 million or more Netashine lift station replacement coming up, for example, yes, there are some big projects on the horizon. So the sewer fund does not have a lot of excess cash, no.
And so is our choice to abolish the program, or can we take the multifamily out of it?
Either are an option for you, but again,
Okay,
an apartment building, if they are separately metered, they would still get the discount. Anybody who living in an apartment, even though they might not have access to a meter, any residential, unless you say single and two-family homes, like maybe a duplex type of thing in a single family, you could change it to be that as well. I think there was one of the communities on the list, I think Cedarburg, theirs was residential customers, one or two family homes
okay.
only, so.
And lastly, because I'm driving my buddy Scooter here crazy, now I lost my train of thought. Could we, I hate the thought of moving the goalposts in the end of June for the summer. Could we do this effective next year?
That would be my suggestion,
yeah.
because,
That was January 1st, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That's what I would be in favor of. I'm done.
Well, I lived in Elkhorn quite a few years. I did have a pool. And my choice then was that if we can afford it, then we can afford the water. I put a sprinkler system in my other house, and everybody said, well, you're crazy, it's the price of water. And I said, I just want my grass green. So it was one of those things that, if you want something like that, I think that what the other communities are looking at, and definitely with the revenue that we could be losing, that I think maybe we should look at that January 1st, 2027, just eliminating the irrigation allowance discount.
I'll make that motion.
Okay? We have a second?
I'll second it. I do have another question.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
If somebody is doing a major project, can they apply for relief for a certain amount of time to the city? Is that something, or, I mean, I don't know. I didn't even realize that we got a discount. I keep telling my husband, you're standing in the yard and you're watering it and we're paying for, I didn't even realize we got a discount. So I'm like you. If you want it, you're going to this is what it is. But if they are, doing some kind of major project, a residential project, not a multifamily apartment complex or something coming in from a builder, can they apply for some kind of relief temporarily, or is that too complicated? It's probably too
Well,
complicated. is what
just
I'm
to be
thinking.
clear though, this is just sewer discount only. Water,
Right, I
they're
understand.
always charged
Right,
for water,
right,
okay.
absolutely.
I don't know, how would you meter?
I think it would be
If there's a,
complicated.
go ahead.
Like, are you talking like a major renovation at a house, and you're gonna just
Right.
renovate it?
Right, if
You
they're,
would come in and pull the meter, right?
okay,
There's a disconnect charge, and then we just come back, right, and reconnect it for another.
so they,
charge.
okay,
So you turn the water off.
There is a
and turn it
mechanism.
on.
so there is, okay.
To shut it, yeah.
If it was some major thing, then,
You
okay.
could shut the water off, as long as you're not using it, you're not being billed for it. The
Right,
meter does have to be off for at least a year, in order to not be charged the monthly fees,
okay,
right? So,
Yeah, okay.
but if, otherwise, you can just shut the main off and not use water too.
and just not use it, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Well, and the other option too, isn't it, would be adding a second meter to the extent that you had some, it might be more cost effective for you to get a second meter if you had a large pool, let's say, and you pay your $5 per month meter charge, but then not getting charged sewer, it's probably gonna be cheaper for you to do that. So
So there's options.
there are options, and that is what other communities do, is that you can just get a second meter, is if you don't want to pay sewer on
And that's
that.
gonna cost you personally, but going
Yeah.
back again, if you've got that big pool, let's put a second meter in, and then we'll get away from the sewer charge, so. Okay, we got a motion. Any more questions, or?
Just for clarification, you're saying getting rid of it entirely, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
that was.
As of January.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty. And C, discussion of possible recommendation regarding proposal for American Transmission Company, ATC LLC, to upgrade fence around the shared substation located on South Lincoln Street. Everybody see that in there with, Matt's gonna bring it up now? There we go.
So can you go back up, Matt, just for a
Yeah.
second? Because I was just looking at this. So this ATC owns the orange and we own the yellow area?
We own the northern portion of it.
Highlighted yellow right there, correct?
The yellow is the part that ATC owns. So let me back up and say, we share the portion that's yellow with ATC.
Okay.
The portion that's, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm looking at a different, yes, you're correct. Yes, the one that's, the dashed yellow is the city's portion. Yeah, that's correct. Yep. That's our laydown yard. So that's 100% city.
Okay.
The remainder of it is shared between the city and ATC.
Okay.
Okay. Did you see that? What was the amount on that, Matt? Did we have a figure, what our portion would be? There's somewhere I seen it. Here we go. Where would that come out of it? Out of the electric?
Yeah, it'd be budgeted out of the electric fund for next year. So we wouldn't be paying this immediately. It'd be something we'd include in the budget, but they need to know, they keep kind of hounding us for an answer on what we want to do. So, so we would just need to know whether to tell them to move forward, and then we'll budget for it for next year.
Is it easily budgeted for? Because I'll tell you that I drove by that fencing today. I drove by that fencing every day coming into town, and I'm like, oh, it really looks terrible. But then when this came up on the agenda, then I drove past and I was like, that looks awful. I mean, it's the gateway into the city, and it really looks bad. I mean, if this is something that you think the city is feasible for us to do, I'd make a motion right now that we send this on to council with an approval, because it is the main thoroughfare into the city, and it just.
And that was part of the reason why we talked about it with them. I mean, a variety of reasons, security, et cetera, but also just it's in really, really rough shape. And now, like you said, is it becoming a major gateway into the city, and with a bunch of apartments and stuff nearby, just seem, and if ATC is willing to foot basically, 80% of the cost or more. I guess my follow-up question then would be, which of the options would you want for this? Which of the options have they proposed would you like? So they can either do the sort of improved structure around. Matt, can you go back to on page 11? Yep. Oh, scroll up, Matt. Page
11 of the
11,
packet,
yeah,
sorry, my
PDF
fault.
right there. Just a little bit more, Matt, where you can see the color. Oh, okay, now it's kind of hard to see, but there's a variety of different options. Thanks, Matt. So, I mean, they can either do the sort of higher security, better, more, the permanent wall structure could be around it could be the yellow portion, it could be the orange box, or it could just be the portion that's fronting Deer Road, South Lincoln Street, and that's going to impact what our share is. So they're going to cover anything that is on the yellow portion. We would be potentially on the hook for the green section that would be along South Lincoln Street. And if you wanted to do the green section that's just on the north, kind of bordering that, I don't know if I'd say commercial property, but
Where that garage is.
yes, thank you, the garage.
What's the backside is still the chain link with the barbed wire, but it's really kind of unseen.
That was the thought, yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you want to do the the cheapest option, you just do the portion that's on South Lincoln Street, as far as the city share. If you wanted to do, like I said, at least two sides of it, and then you just leave the back part facing the truck, the truck depot.
And that'd be the green, right, Adam?
Yes, correct, yeah. The first two green, I know you see there's some other green on the south side, but I'm just referencing the green portion on the top.
So that would be the motion I would make to do the green, to do the three sides, the north side, the east side, and the south side, and then, leave the back, however the back gets taken care of. If it's new fencing, but it's just not that security fencing or whatever it is.
If ATC is willing to do the backside, would you want them to do the backside, at least not necessarily our portion of the laydown yard, but would you want them to do the backside too or not? I'm just asking.
Are they gonna pay for it?
They've said they
Backside?
would, but if they change their mind, I guess we can revise, but
What's the laydown there vertically, north to south? Like, because I saw there was a cost per foot, but
Yeah.
what's that distance? Is that bigger than it looks on here? It looks like
Big.
30 feet, but
there's the footage is on page 12 of the PDF, and I should caution by saying that this is a rough estimate of linear feet, but it's 181 feet along. It's basically, it's almost 200 each side. It's slightly off, but that's just looking at it on the GIS. It's about 404 feet total for both the north side and then the portion that's facing South Lincoln Street.
I don't know how your feelings are, but, I guess I for sure would like the three sides done, but if ATC is gonna do this side, then maybe if we only responsible from the yellow line up to make it complete and just be done with it all at once and doesn't break the budget.
So the 400 and some feet is just the north side and the east side?
Yes, correct. Yep.
So it's 800 feet total, roughly.
It'd be 600. It'd be 600 feet total. Let's just say would be the city side would be 600 feet.
What do you guys feel on that?
Well, they're gonna chip in on this. I mean, anytime we can get help, when we're doing something like that, it's sure worth, getting done all we can for that reason.
You do not have a second.
I don't think you really made a motion.
You made a motion.
Did you actually make a motion?
I made a motion and you seconded it, and now we're in the discussion
Okay.
phase. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
we're just in the discussion, now we haven't voted.
No. I didn't think you
Who
made a
seconded
motion.
You didn't get it?
Oh, I mean, all
He
right.
made a motion, but I didn't think you.
So are you making the motion that we do the three sides,
I thought that's what the motion was.
the green portion?
What do you got, Rebecca?
Yeah, you made a motion for the three sides, but I think you can amend it,
Okay,
because I have you down as first.
okay. So I guess my motion would be to do the entire thing with seeing what ATC is kicking in for and just getting it all done and doing it right the first time. That's my motion.
I would second that.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Is there any further discussion?
But again, pending what they would contribute, probably, and not to go over what the linear feet estimate is in this. Adding up, because this estimate of what it's gonna cost is only the three sides, correct? Or is it just the two sides?
It would cost approximately $262,000 for the city to do the two sides.
So that's just two sides?
Yes.
That's not all three sides?
Correct.
That's what I,
Yep.
Mm.
you see what I
So
mean?
262 is not the number then anymore, right? Can't be.
No.
Correct.
So now it's gonna
262
be.
is the north
And the east, yes.
And then 117 is the south?
The 117 was just if you're doing the segment on the east side along South Lincoln Street. The cost to do
Our-
both,
Our cost, okay.
yeah, our cost. And if you wanted to do both our cost on the South Lincoln Street side and the north portion along next to the garage, in total, it'd be about 260 for those two sides.
So if we did three sides, it'd be about 390. if you add another.
Yeah, now I will say that the cost, to the mayor's point, the cost that they gave us, it was like the square footage cost would go down the more that you did. So we tried to use an average cost, but yeah, to the mayor's point, you're looking at probably 390, maybe 400 if you do all three sides. So I think, anyway, so it's up to you guys what you want to do.
We have a motion. Is that the correct motion, or do we have to amend it, Peter? Is there
I think I have to amend my motion
two?
So, and then what's ATC's, what's, like, so I'm really confused here now. Our 262 number is doing our portion of the yard, our portion of the yard on Lincoln Street and across the north side.
Correct.
And then they're doing the rest of Lincoln Street South and then on Deer Avenue. So it'll be 3 sides would be done for 262.
Yes.
And it would, our split with them and our additional cost would be 120 to do the back side. Okay, now that I'm clear, I'll make a motion to that have the 3 sides done in the green line with a cost of approximately 262.
But 3 sides isn't 260. 2 sides is 260.
I think,
Well, no, because they're doing the south side, so their side is gonna get done.
So, but you're not authorizing the,
Their expenditure.
yeah. We're only authorizing 260 for our 2 sides. So you're saying, you can't authorize 3 sides?
Sure.
Yeah.
3 sides will be done, but we're only authorizing our 262 to finish the
Correct.
sides.
East and north.
Yeah, so that's my motion.
That's the amended. We had a motion. That's the amendment to the motion, or can you make a new motion? I would say.
That actually was, I think, his original motion, because his original motion
Yeah.
was to do the
I
3 sides to
Okay.
start with.
Have
So,
about the
yeah.
same notes,
Just-
so I think you went the same route.
And
Yeah.
your second?
The motion is to spend the 262, and that's it, right? I will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion?
God,
Seeing none? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That recommendation will go to council. Now, Scott, now you can leave.
why would I leave?
We're going into closed session. You don't have to leave.
Oh.
You'll join it?
Oh, I would live for this.
That'll be our next move here. Closed session, I have to read this little paragraph here. The Multiple Service Committee may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the Wisconsin statute, section 19.851C, to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction and exercises responsibility in pursuit to the Wisconsin statute 19.851F, to consider financial, medical, social, personal, history, disciplinary action, data of specific persons. What do I got there? Preliminary, I only found my spot. Preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems or investigation of charges against specific persons, except where paragraph B applies, which is discussing public would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems of investigations.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, there's typically a
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Now, we can do a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.